What is up, guys? This is going to be a quick video detailing the interior dimensions and basic setup on the 97 to 01 Honda CR-Vs. This is going to give you an idea of what you could do for a rear conversion on your Honda CR-V, and pretty much just give you some ideas and kind of help you figure out what you're going to use your car for, and kind of what size and dimensions you would need in order to do something similar to this. Also, if you're interested in getting one of these real-time Hondas jet tags, flight tags, key tags, you can go ahead and check me out on Instagram at real-time Hondas, or the Facebook group at real-time Hondas, and then go ahead and shoot me a message on there and I can get you hooked up. So what I'm going to be doing is pausing a lot and getting some measurements and kind of letting you see what I have here, and see if you'd be interested in doing something similar to this. I'm going to go ahead and pause it, get the rear measurement from here to here. All right, so I have 46 and 3/4, and that's going to be the rear from side to side, and it's going to be a little bit wider up here in the front since it does taper up here in the front. All right, and so up here in the front I have 47 and a half. And the reason for it tapering up is because the interior actually widens as it goes around some of these awkward corners, and just help maximize my space a little bit versus having just a square box. Right now, this is my kind of temporary solution to getting cargo to kind of stay in place, since now you have a flat bed. Cargo likes to shift around, which is why I have these tubs here. I can put just basic groceries or whatever I have in them to keep from sliding around, which is kind of neat. And then here's the inside. That's going to kind of show how I have the hinges set up. So basically it's a box and a box and a box, right? So three large box compartments, and under here you can see that I have deep tubs. Let me go ahead and get this tub out of the way. All right, and so now with that tub out of the way, you can kind of see the depth here, and it's just held up by this wood here, which is should be 3/4, I believe. Yeah, 3/4 plywood there, and that basically holds up the support. I have these internal loops, which that's how I keep my box from sliding around. The reason I went with this, and I'll measure the height here in a sec. All right, so I have 7 1/4 from the floor of the table to the top here, and of course it tapers down a little bit here, so I have what, 6 1/2 right there. So pretty much I could run a 6 1/2 inch high tub, which is what I ended up getting here. This is just under 6 inches for that tub there, and I can put tubs all the way here in the back and then kind of maximize the space I'm using. And then of course I can take these tubs out and still access what I have going on underneath here. And then the table is actually held down by these ties here, and I have just a loop that goes through and bolts in, and then you can twist these to kind of the enough just to keep them from moving, and then the bottom is just resting on the floor here. Okay, so from this side you can see that wall we were just looking at from the inside of the tub, and this is the side of that. Right here it goes over and down, so this is that wall we were looking at for the upright, that 3/4 inch plywood there. And then in here there's actually pockets here, as you can see, that go in. And in case you are wondering, you can access the strut. All you need to do is pull up the clips from this, and there's just a few screws that I have holding this big piece on. Since this is 3 pieces, this and the 2 big flaps there, this comes off, and then you can easily access the stuff here. And then I have all the tools, of course, in my car in order to be able to get that off at any time. And let me go show you that side over there. All right, so over here we can check this out. This door just flaps up. I need to make a better way to secure it, but you can see here it's just held on by these hinges. And then there's the back wall to where those tubs are. The same deal over here. Behind this, there's that flap and those deep long pockets for kind of awkward things. Use it for the sunshades there for the front. Of course, in the car you got to keep all the necessities, all the fluids in a nice little bin, some gloves, a couple of these, and then one on the other side. And because my car is now lifted, you need a block in order for these to even work anymore. So yeah, that's something that you need to keep in mind. This is not recommended. Do not do this. Get something proper for being able to jack up your car. So yeah, let me get the measurement on this door here real quick. All right, so this door is 21 1/4 roughly, and then 21 1/4 roughly that way. It does taper up to the top slightly because of the way the tub is. This is not a perfect square, so your application will depend on your measurements will depend on your application, is what I mean. And then on this side, let me get the chair forward and you can see how these beds go up. Okay, now with that chair forward and lean forward, you can see now that this bed extension basically goes up like this. I have just a simple little piece of wood here with some brackets on it that perfectly line up to these holes. Basically it just goes under, and then you can sort that out, and it's a nice surface. It can go up a little bit if your head wants to be over here, or you can kind of get it down based on where that leg is. So if you want to put your feet on the side, which is typically what I do because I like my head being in the back over here, that's what I do. So now let's get the measurement from the end here to the end over here, and that'll kind of give us our total length. Okay, now you can see we got the tape measure on. So from the end here, where your feet are going to be, over here to where your head is, or whichever way you'd like to sleep, is going to be 70 inches. So that's 70 inches for sleep space, but that will vary based on how long you make this. So you see here how there's space to the floor. That can be used to give you extra length. The only thing you have to realize is you gotta taper the sides. That's why it's tapered in, to kind of cover, to clear whatever you have here. And you can really make this, you can put this out a few more inches. So if you're like 6 foot or whatever, you could sleep in here fairly comfortably. If you're a little bit longer, if you're a really long guy, you could sleep diagonally, which is going to give you a lot more space too. But this side is kind of the temporary one. This is not the permanent one. I just threw this in here real quick. I have been sleeping on this side, which is why this has got the nice piece, and it's a little bit longer as well. I believe this was 72 inches from the end to the end there, which is plenty of space for me. And that allows me to sleep quite comfortably in here. And if I want to do both up at the same time, you can sleep 2 in here easily. You know, it's really just whatever you want. It kind of gives you a lot of versatility. And let's go ahead and get the measurement from the bottom here to the top. Realize I do have one of these sunroofs, so that's going to cut down a little bit on the height. But with my head being on this side, it kind of gives me a little more headroom because it ends up here. Okay, so as we can see, we have 28 inches to the floor to the top here, and then 25 inches from the floor to the top here. That gives me plenty of space to sleep comfortably. You know, a lot of those small tents that you'll get will be similar in headroom for those ultralight tents. So to me, that doesn't bother me at all. And I also have a nice wide area here to kind of maneuver around. But what I really like is because of how I have the floor here, if I want to sit up, I can put my feet down here, put my butt up here, and then that gives me a lot of space, and the chair can go forward just a little bit more too. So that gives me a little bit of room to kind of wiggle around, and I can easily get from my sleeping spot here over to where I drive if I want to sleep on this side, and I don't even have to mess with this chair. I can just hop right in, which is what I did for my really long road trip. I slept on this side, and I just kept the bed kind of set up so I don't have to keep messing with it every day. You can even take this out if it's just going to be you, but you know, if it's going to be 2 people, this is very doable. So over here we see I have these Velcro pads put on here and here, and basically I just take a blind curtain that has a Velcro sewn onto it, and then I just put it along the side here, which gives me the privacy on the sides. Same over here, and then I just have one of those sunshades that goes up in the window, and I dropped my tape measure. So you can see that this just goes in here, the hinge, and it just comes through there, and then it goes into this piece here, which kind of beefs it up, and it acts as like the lip for the lids here, which is nice. What I would like to do is get like a little latch system that actually latches on so these stay down. I haven't had an issue with these bouncing around, especially since I have these cores kind of keeping it from bouncing around. And typically I run something on here, so it doesn't really bother me that much. One thing I like to do is put my food here and kind of like a one of those coolers, and it fits nicely here and it can strap down very easily. Just make sure that you put kind of non-daily used items on this side of the pocket and then more used items on the side where you're going to keep less stuff, so it's easier to access. All right, and then just real quick here in the back, as you can see the little slide here, I have these put going down, kind of braced with these. Everything's kind of beefed up, so it's nice and load bearing. So I can put a lot of weight on this. So my cooking stuff goes here. I just run this little kind of stopper for on hills, doesn't go anywhere. I have this table that kind of flips down. Go ahead, check out Dashing Cars, good dude. If you want some wagon stuff, go ahead, check out Fox Designs. He's got some cool things on there on his Fox Designs, etc.com, which is, oh, come on, focus. Yeah, he's got some cool wagon stuff. I'm a big wagon guy. And I got the Bilstone struts here. So yeah, you can go ahead and kind of get an idea of what I have here for kind of what I use for camping. It's a pretty good setup for what I use it for, and of course your setup's going to depend on what you use it for. A lot of people will just keep all the seats in and they use the fold down chairs that the Honda CR-Vs have, which is something you can find fairly easily. So yeah, all right, this video is way too long, but hope that gives you a kind of a better idea of what's going on inside of here, and give you an idea of how you might want to set up your camping stuff. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.